Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today for day 11 of Listmas 2022, we're almost at the end, myself and the ambassador are going to be going over our top 10. What?
Oh, hey there. It's Listmas time.
Hey, what's good? Here we go. At number 10, let's start this Listmas list with the good old wing over drop. Yes, the B&M Wing Coaster, their answer to the Aero and subsequently SNS's fourth dimension coaster. Foreshadowing. All right, now this is a totally awesome use of this train design, especially when you're sitting on the outside seat, which is opposite the drop and the twist. For Gatekeeper at Cedar Point in Ohio and X-Flight at Six Flags Great America in Illinois, those are the only ones I've ever ridden. It's on the left side. Now, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with what a wing coaster is, right after the ride vehicle crests the lift hill, the track twists 180 degrees and essentially becomes a dive loop. Now, it's important to note that not every wing coaster begins with that wing over drop. I'm looking at you, Wild Eagle. But to be honest, they actually should. Even the LSM launch models. How say you, Drew?
I say we take it back to Six Flags Magic Mountain for their newest coaster, Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. Now, I'm sure some of you seasoned coaster enthusiasts are probably scratching your heads at this one, as this is not the steepest of the RMC single-rail Raptor coaster drops. Well, guess what? It's the tallest, and it has the longest trains, meaning it has the most potential for whip over that drop, giving you that crazy sensation of weightlessness, aka airtime. Wonder Woman Flight of Courage's first drop, especially if you're towards the back half of the train, whips like crazy, and will give you an unsuspecting, very powerful pop of airtime, pushing you up into your restraint as your butt may leave the seat. Of course, because this drop is over 130 feet, you have quite a long time to think about every one of your life's decisions on the way down before smacking down into your seat again and heading straight into that first inversion. It's an absolutely amazing first drop, and I honestly think it's a little underrated.
All right, at number 8. Okay, seriously, why all the hate for my number 8? Orion at Kings Island in Ohio. Orion is another outstanding entry from B&M. Depending on who you ask, though, it's either a Giga coaster or it's an outright lie. Now, I'm in the opinion of the Giga persuasion. Nevertheless, there's one thing that both camps can agree on is that first drop, and oh baby, Giga, is that a honey of a drop. It feels like it goes on forever. Now, while the angle of descent is an impressive 85 degrees, it feels like those crazy Swiss engineers designed it to reach that angle, that maximum angle, further down the drop, like maybe the last third of it, but yet the transition into the valley is so smooth and so fast that you don't really have time to catch your breath until much, much later. Now, but not much later, because then the ride will be over by then. Yeah, it's a pretty short ride.
Heading just south of Orion, we're going to be going to Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville for Storm Chaser, an RMC iBox coaster featuring a barrel roll drop. This is another one of those unorthodox first drops where it's actually an inversion. That's right, from the get-go, from the lift hill, you immediately start twisting left and keep turning that way. Before you know it, you're completely upside down and flipping even quicker towards the ground. While unlike most first drops, you do get an amazing amount of weightlessness and some great lateral forces pushing you side to side, as especially towards the front of the train, you get some awesome hang time, where it feels like you're floating, at least in this case, upside down. And while this might seem like one of the most crazy elements on the entirety of the coaster, it's actually one of the tamest, as this ride throws quite a few punches throughout the rest of the layout.
Para el número 6, we head on down to good old Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and their OG RMC Iron Rattler. Man, this stunning wooden hybrid coaster is built next to and even on top of a quarry wall. It makes for some incredible views and some amazing elements. The very first barrel roll on a hybrid, in fact. Nice. But what really makes this coaster shine is that crazy go nuts first drop. Mad coaster scientist Alan Schilke sliced and diced the original Rattler's Hill from 124-foot drop with a 61.4 vert to a bonkers 171-foot drop and an 81-degree vert. OMG, you guys. That's not all. Right as that silly snake-themed Gerstlauer train crests the lift hill and starts to drop, the track twists slightly to the left and then about halfway down twists back right. All I can say is if you sit in that back row, left seat equals yeet. The kids still say yeet, right?
Bet no cap.
Cringe.
Okay, boomer.
At number 5, we have yet another Rocky Mountain construction roller coaster built in the same year as Iron Rattler, and that's Outlaw Run, their topper track coaster at Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. This ride, while kind of debated, is technically a wooden coaster, and boy, it lets you know that within the first couple seconds. It's not glassy smooth by any stretch of the imagination, but to me it adds to quite a bit of that intensity, especially when you get to the double barrel roll finale. Of course, before you get there, we gotta go down that first drop, which following an awesome pre-drop section right after the lift hill gives you one of the best and most spectacular views of the Ozark Mountains possible. This is all, of course, before you plummet 80 degrees down towards the ground into a small valley and get to feel the might of a full wooden coaster, shakiness as well as intensity. The airtime on this moment is absolutely immaculate, of course, right before you come crashing down back into your seat.
Okay, so for number 4, did you hear that one of the steepest first drops on a coaster in the world is in Utah?
Seriously?
Crazy, right? I mean, it's over 200 feet tall and has a beyond vertical drop of 116 degrees.
For real? In Utah?
Yeah, at an amusement park called Lagoon. Speaking of which, can you guess the name of the coaster?
I don't know. The Zion Zoomer?
No, like, not even close. That's actually a much better name, to be honest.
Why? What's the actual name?
Cannibal.
Cannibal? Cannibal? Like the person who eats people cannibal?
Yeah, but look, the ride is freaking awesome, and it was basically built in-house. It's got cool theming and drums and an elevator lift, and the operations and the ride throughput are amazing.
That explains the name.
Huh? How so?
It's a people eater.
Womp womp.
Making our way back to Sandusky, Ohio for Cedar Point for number 3. We're going to the back of the park to Frontier Town for Maverick, their Intamin Blitz launch coaster. This ride is just all sorts of intense. There's a 70-mile-an-hour launch, 2 different inversions, and of course more airtime than you could ever imagine. To get things rolling, though, you gotta go down that first drop after a launched lift hill. This drop, though, is 95 degrees. That's right, it's beyond vertical, and this ride isn't even that tall. So the whip and force that you feel going down that first drop is really unbelievable. I can tell you, as someone who is able to ride towards the back row this year yet again, it is unmatched in the staggering change of direction that your body ends up going through in just about a second's time. You're calmly going up, then you're plummeting down towards the ground faster than gravity itself before immediately going into a right-handed turn. It's really hard to understand what's happening at that moment in time, but that's why it's got to be up high on this list.
Okay, for number 2, all I have to ask is everybody in? Is everybody in? The number 2 spot for best coaster drop is about to begin. Now, I told you that foreshadowing would pay off. And what can I say about this coaster's drop that hasn't already been swooned over by every Thuzy, young and old, who've ridden it. X2 at Magic Mountain is, without a doubt, aerodynamics magnum opus. The world's first glimpse inside Schilke's imagination and innovation. The piece de resistance is its god-tier first drop. First off, on the lift hill, y'all face backwards. And while it does offer an amazing view of the rest of the park, you also have no idea when the drop is coming. So after ascending 175 feet, the train enters into a pre-drop, and at this point, you're basically in like a headstand position, and then it ascends an additional 15 feet to the maximum height of 190 feet. And without warning, the seat assembly is quickly rotated forward so that you're positioned facing straight down to the ground, and you fall the entire 215 feet at an 88.5 degree drop in a skydive position. Now, at the very last second, just when you think you're going to splat your face right into the ground, the seats flip forward once again, and now you're on your back, rounding out the valley. Truly, truly the very best first drop I have ever experienced. Don't at me, Ijanaika and Dino Kanda.
All right, I gotta admit, I would put X2 at my number 1 if it wasn't already chosen, but that means we're gonna head to Tampa, Florida for the recently voted number 1 overall coaster in the world for the Vote Coasters poll, Iron GWAZI. Another RMC is making it to this list, and very, very high up. Why is this above the others, you're probably asking? Well, guess what? This drop is 200 feet tall. And not only that, it's beyond vertical, just beyond so at 91 degrees. I can tell you though, that 1 degree makes a heck of a difference, as this drop really lets you know as soon as you crest the top of that hill that it's in charge now. You get some spectacular airtime, as well as a great view of the rest of the park and most of the layout of the ride you're about to go through. And another cool, great moment on this drop is actually towards the bottom as you start to turn to the right before officially making it all the way to the ground. This adds some cool lateral forces, kind of similar to Iron Rattler, and then there's an amazing head chopper right above your arms. This moment makes you instinctively duck as there's another part of the support structure going directly above you. It is just such a cool moment that it had to top my list. But there you have it, all 10 of our favorite first drops ranked, as Listmas is almost over. Before we end up heading out though, I wanted to give a huge thanks to the ambassador for joining me, as it was amazing to get to work with him on this video.
Oh, thank you, Drew. All of your picks are amazing, and even though I've only ridden 2 of them so far, you've convinced me to make plans to go out and ride those additional 3. Seriously, that's why parksbros is one of my favorite channels to watch for lists, and especially right here during Listmas. If you haven't already, please check out his channel and throw him some sub love. His content is fun, it's informative, it's well edited, it has some awesome After Effects magical intros. You know what, thanks so much for inviting me to be part of the Listmas this year, Drew. I appreciate you. And hey, if you're in a particularly jolly mood this holiday season, you can head on over to my Instagram channel, which is the_ambassador_ERT, for some wild and wacky posts. Now, the ERT stands for Enthusiast Roundtable, and I'm launching a new YouTube channel with the same name sometime in 2023. So I need you to check back every single day to see if it's live yet. No, seriously, I need you to check back every single day. I'm not kidding. Check it. Do it. Please? Cool.
All right, I'll be checking every single day. I can't wait to see some of the videos you're going to come out with next year. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure. But Listmas officially only has 1 list left. Well, 2 if you're a YouTube member. My top 25 coasters overall for the year officially comes out tomorrow, so make sure to subscribe so you know exactly when it's up. With all that said though, I wanted to say thank you so much for watching all throughout the year. I really do appreciate ya. But until tomorrow, we'll see you on the next ride.